Hello, my wonderful, beautiful broskies and broskies of the wonderful, beautiful Maverick Nation. Hmm. And oh boy, do I have a treat for all of you here today. I just came up with the most random thing I could possibly think of, which also just so happens to be one of the most badass things I could ever think of. Even though I'm not exactly a biggest fan of zombies, it also incorporates zombies because 28 days later, kinda, those zombies were kinda cool in the way that they were like really fast and like crazy, and there was so many different ways you could get infected. So it was like constant paranoia, 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 coming to get me. Paranoia song. No. Basically, this what is will be titled What if Izuku Midoriya was the Lagiacrus? You guys don't know what I'm talking about? Well, for those of you that are unfortunate enough to not know what I'm talking about, whenever I say what if Izuku Midoriya was the Lagiacrus, well, it's kind of a Monster Hunter thing. It's one of the monsters from the Monster Hunter games. It's an underwater monster that can also go on land, and it can also electrocute shit. And it looks freaking badass. Badass shit. But that's not the only element we're incorporating in here. Since I just wanted to go balls off the walls crazy with all the shit that could, just scare the crap out of anyone and everyone that's watching. We're adding in some Nautica because of the freaking Emperor things that you can find in the middle of the freaking ocean, which you can freaking hear their screams all the way from the shallow end of the water, which is terrifying whenever you think about it. I mean, that means they're loud, motherfuckers. Like, the red guys, like, I think, like, the Sea Emperor guys is what they're called. Like, the Sea something. So basically, yeah, like, elements from, like, Subnautica, and also elements from Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah, I know, random as hell, aren't I being random as hell today? And you heard me mention 28 days later, like something along the lines of like a fusion of The Walking Dead and 28 days later. But mostly 28 days later. Because I'm not the biggest fan of The Walking Dead TV show. Though the 28 days later zombies, they are kind of cool, and it's also kind of cool how like the paranoia you can build up with how many different ways you can actually get infected, how easily you can get infected, and just the kind of situations something like that creates. And you guys might be wondering, like, Dark Shadow Maverick, how the hell would something like this happen? Like, all of these different things together at once. Well, first of all, one thing that I'm gonna make sure about you guys, actually two things I'm gonna make sure. There's a certain guy, Dunkle Dylan, or also known as Dylan Braden. Maybe like one or two of his what ifs actually has Mineta as like a either friend or type of parent figure to Izuku, and I kind of wanted to take that for myself. Just for this one, possibly, maybe for another one in the future, but no one really knows. Because we are not in the future, we are in the present. So, yes. Mineta is going to be a big part of this story. He's going to be very integral. And plus, when we start this story, it will be 5 years before, normally in the anime, the whole thing with the UA shit would start. So basically, whenever Izuku does the whole UA test thing, he's like 15, so that would make him 10 if we were to redact 5 years from, retract 5 years from his age. So technically, we're going to start with him being 10. And it's going to be the same way with Mineta and all the other people who would usually either be in class 1A, 1B, or in general studies. And it's going to be the same with the teachers. It's going to be 5 years retracted because, well, time works that way. Time works in a way in which everything goes steady flow, or at least for the timeline in which things are going on. Everyone, it would be like 5 years retracted. So, Yu Takayama, who's like 22 in the anime, she would basically 22 minus 5 is how old she would be. And basically, yeah. Well, basically, you guys might be wondering, how exactly am I going to include, Subnautica elements, Shadow of the Colossus elements, Monster Hunter elements, and, 28 Days Later elements? Though, there might be some fun stuff to do with, the, The Walking Dead, kind of like Negan's bat. Maybe that will show up. I believe that's already showed up in one of my what ifs, but maybe just like Wilson, it will be extra special and make a reappearance. I don't know if Wilson made a reappearance, but Wilson's extra special. He should make a reappearance. Wilson, I'm sorry. Oh God. Anyways, how exactly I'm going to explain all this? Well, the whole Lagiacrus thing with Izuku, that's basically, everything starts with something. So, quirks had to have come from somewhere. Well, let's just say that an ancient sort of prehistoric, precursor to a quirk was, inside the gene of the once all-known, beast known as, from the legends known as the Lagiacrus. Many people tried to hunt down the Lagiacrus, but it was so badass that it just kicked all their asses and ended up eating them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And maybe even a snack or dessert, if it felt like it. So, yeah. Basically, let's just say, what Izuku has is a quirk that's a resurgence. How they say, kind of, certain diseases are kind of, trapped within, icebergs, they have hidden inside of them, certain diseases. And so if they were to break and get into the water supply, that would be very bad. So, yeah. That's a thing. Anyways, well, basically, the strand of the existence of Lagiacrus ended up making it into the form of a quirk, unlike some of the other monsters in which their genomes weren't exactly as successful in, like, reincarnating. Theirs weren't exactly as successful in, like, the process of reincarnation. However, the genomes that Izuku received of the Lagiacrus, these were like positive and negative, so like they attracted to each other real good. So the Lagiacrus became a thing. It just took a while. Basically, Izuku was pronounced that he had a quirk called Lagiacrus. And, well, Izuku's parents, knowing about the whole Lagiacrus legend, they didn't really want to believe it, but oh, they should have. They should have heeded the doctor's advice and just gotten rid of Izuku if they wanted to stay alive themselves. How am I kidding? The Lagiacrus would probably have just eaten them anyways. How big the damn thing is. You know Lagiacrus Izuku? And that's just whenever he's 5. So basically, they still keep Izuku. However, you know, yeah, basically the first time that his quirk is ever, like, activated, like, used at all, the automatic result, the end result, is, well, his parents are indeed eaten. Right after being prepared, especially crispy and toasty, due to some electrical power. Because Izuku doesn't really spend all that much time in the water. He's still learning how to swim. Which the Lagiacrus quirk will indeed help him with that, even whenever he's not using the quirk. He will be able to swim better. So there won't be as much of a fear of him dying, throughout the years, to where he gets the age of 10. And basically, why 10? Is because, basically, whenever Izuku hits the age of 10, basically, Izuku is, well, 10 whenever a certain someone knocks on his door. A certain someone just so happens to have a very weird hairdo. They say that their name is Minoru Moneta. And, well, basically, that, well, seeing as everything has pretty much gone all to shit, as many, friends and family that could be found to, help each other out, help a brother out, just says, like, basically, Mineta just freely admits he's looking for people, so that he, not only is he not as lonely, but, that he has, friends, companions, compadres, like that line in Jaws, like, gonna need a bigger boat. Mineta kind of notices Izuku's little raft kind of teeter-tottering on the outside of their house. Because most of what used to be the outside world is kind of super submerged in water, so, like, the only things that really pop out all that much, besides the new things that have been being built in order for people to survive, are some of the taller trees and some skyscrapers and other shit that you would expect to, be able to go above the surface of a completely, basically, submerged Earth. Well, not technically, like, just semi-completely, really, just semi-completely submerged Earth. Basically, the reason for all this submergence being, at least in this story, it will indeed be because of climate change slash like global warming, you know, all that shit. As the time has gone by, basically, you guys didn't listen. It happened, and now look where we are. Now look where we're at. Like, everything is sunk into shit. Well, almost everything. Though, over the years, people have been getting more used to this type of life, It's been hard, but it is, possible to get used to. It's just nowhere near as, comfy and luxurious as, normal Earth life. They've just happened to be getting along the best way they can. Mineta, he feels that, it'll be easier to, get along and, well, survive if he had a friend or friends. So he's basically just trying to get a friend in Izuku. And Izuku basically just like, I don't know, dude. I mean, my quirk, it's kind of the reason why my parents are no longer alive. And why the house kind of looks the way it does. I'm still in the midst of repairing it from everything that happened whenever I first actually used it. All the way back whenever I was 5. It's been taking that long to repair the house. And then there's those, like, what do they call them? Sea Emperor things? You can hear them all the way from the shallower waters. They're loud as hell. It actually gets so loud to the point where they're really annoying. And, in the middle of the night, we can even hear them. And we, as in me and my quirked form. And a little known fact, me and my quirked form can actually do a lot of kicking ass whenever it comes to those loud as ass hell motherfudgers. They want to yell their freaking heads off, try to keep me awake. They can get their asses handed to them. And also get electric shock therapy. While underwater. Yeah, something that conducts electricity. And well, this basically whenever Mineta's just like, wow, it's settled. You and me, actually, I think we'd be perfect friends. Your quirk sounds amazing. Quirk is called Lagiacrus. What about yours, Mineta? Oh, it's called Pop-Off. However, in order to more easily adapt to the way life is now, I've been trying to find a way to make the quirk actually lethal instead of just something that stops people in their tracks. Oh, and it can also be normal hair as well. Oh, so it's either sticky balls or just hair that looks like sticky balls. That's quite the far cry from my quirk. but it does. We have to be in a more open area for me to show you. I don't want the entire, area to just fall apart as soon as I transform. Plus, a couple things, change about me whenever I transform. Not as easy to, I guess you could say, reason with whenever I'm in the form. Maybe that's the reason why those guys have stopped being so damn loud. Finally realized who's top of the food chain. Who's the Emperor's now, assholes? Lagiacrus, motherfudgers. Huh. They deserve it. Oh, well, I think I know an open spot. Okay, oh, over here. This is where I usually go to train. It's nice and peaceful most of the time, as until I start training. So, please try to stand back because, like I said, electrical powers. Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't know how that's supposed to work, and how you don't hurt yourself whenever you use those underwater, like you said you're able to. But, anyways, I heard a lot about those Sea Emperor guys. And I think I've even seen a couple pictures. Though the people that took them, they weren't actually, whatever was left of them. It's safe to say they weren't exactly alive. Oh, you mean those body parts that I found at the bottom of the ocean? Oh, shit. Those were the Sea Emperors that tore them to shreds? Well, if that's one nice thing that they've done for me, is help me already get down the food. Yeah, as scary as you may think the old Sea Emperor guys are, trust me, there aren't just any, tales about the Lagiacrus for any damn reason. What, you mean there are actually tales about the Lagiacrus? I haven't heard anything. Well, I guess in the way, the state in which Earth is now, you probably would be hard for word to get all the way back to wherever you live. Actually, I was thinking that we could make a base of some sort. My house is made out of a lot weaker stuff than what I end up figuring out yours is made out of. I ended up hurting my hand figuring out. Well, there's a first aid kit in the bathroom closet if you need any instant help. Yeah, I think if I lose any more blood, that would be very bad. Huh. Should I really tell him about the legend of the Lagiacrus? I don't want to lose an opportunity to have a friend. I'm back! Holy shit, you're fast! Holy crap! Well, I guess your injury doesn't look all that severe. So, I guess that would make sense how you were able to take care of it so fast. Anyways, I'm just now warming myself up for the transformation. Because, well, may look like it isn't all that much. First, not only are you soon to be proven wrong, but it definitely hurts like hell. At least the first few times that I actually transformed in my older body. Okay. So are we gonna start this on land or on sea? Well, before I answer that, can I ask you one question? Yeah, Minetta? What? Can I ride you? I mean, I did find one thing that mentioned something about a Lagiacrus, and a picture that came with it. You look pretty damn big. So I don't think riding you would be a problem. Oh. I tried to tell myself that I was gonna pick those up. My house is a mess, isn't it? Well, it's not exactly anything that the two of us working together couldn't work to fix. What about your family, Minetta? Like, you sure have, like, parents and, like, siblings, right? Okay, the siblings might be, like, a little bit of a presumptuous thing, but at least you should have parents, like, right? Actually... hmm... Due to these creatures, I believe there's a total of 16 of them. They're called the Colossi. And they came around right around the time that the whole zombie outbreak started. And with the enclosed spaces that have now been made, it's a lot easier for the zombie guys to catch up with some of us. Though, not if we know the exact best places to make our homes. Which is, I guess, why you and me have stayed alive for so long. Though I can't say the same for the siblings that I did have. And, well, sadly, my parents... can't believe I'm actually admitting this. Especially to someone who I just now learned about. And especially now that I know about your little Lagiacrus. They turned infected because one of my parents, I forgot which one was which, they bit my other parent, and so my other parent became infected. So, I had to kill them both, shoot them directly in the brain. The strongest, basically the gun with the strongest punch I could find. Blew their brains out all over the place. There was no way I was going to be able to clean all that up in a timely manner. That's around the time that I first met around you. Jesus Christ. When your parents was infected and they bit the other and you had to blow both their brains out? Holy shit. Damn, that's metal. You're a hardcore son of a gun. You sure are. So, basically, you and I both know about all sort of the danger zones to sea, and now, unless you knew before I told you, you probably want to know more about these colossi. 16 of them, and a possible rumored 17th Colossi, though it's believed to have been killed, and the 16 that the 17th killed. On the way back then. Basically, the one to have become the 17th Colossi, before it became the 17th Colossi, 16 Colossi were killed by it. And then, after all of that, somehow became the 17th, the last one remaining. And then it was killed. And then I guess the cycle started all over again. I'm wondering whenever the 17th will pop up again. Possibly after we've gotten rid of all the 16 that are currently around. I heard that there's a especially scary one by the name of Dirge. Yeah. If I'm not wrong, I think it's the 10th Colossi. What, the Dirge one? Yeah. Just kinda. I don't know how easy this promise will be for you to keep, but please at least try not to look into its eyes if we ever run into Dirge. Oh, it's one of those types of creatures. Well, trust me. Just like you, I've heard the roars of the Sea Emperors and all sorts of other creatures down in the deep. And so, whatever these colossi are like, well, they shouldn't be too much worse, right? What do you think the 16th colossi is like? Well, from what I have heard, a total bitch to kill. Oh, well, that sucks. Ah. So, basically on the checklist, steer away far from any of those could be creatures of the deep and figure out something to do about the whole 16 colossi eventually whenever the 17th one comes up, until that happens. And, well, try not to get bitten by a zombie or interact with any sort of bodily fluid or strand of DNA that comes from the infected. It's crazy how easy it is for people to get infected by these damn things. And they're fast as hell. Completely brutal. No mercy, nor remorse. None. At all. Well, then, maybe I had heard like something like that, happening before. Yeah. A group. You just so happen to know anything about a group called Umbrella? Yes, that's right. I just now remembered those guys. Yeah, that's right. Bringing in some Resident Evil. I'm just running away with myself, ain't I? Anyways, back to the story. Oh, you mean the guys that are responsible for that thing that called itself Nemesis. And, always constantly saying something about stars. At least from what I've heard about tales of the Nemesis creature. Who knows? Maybe it could be back too. Oh, those freaking crazy ass zombies and Nemesis? I've never seen Nemesis before, but I just hope I don't have to resort to my quirk in order to kill it if find Nemesis, or if Nemesis finds us. Izuku. Izuku. Yeah, Monima? I mean, never mind. But shit. Manamana. Do 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 do. Manamana. Do 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 do. Manamana. Do 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 do. Charging my attack. Damn it. 4-star. Anyways. Monima and Minetta's names are so damn similar, so don't blame me. Blame the person who's the creator of My Hero Academia. Or Boku no Hero Academia if you live in Japan. Whatever. Yeah, Minetta? Cool. We're friends, right? Well, yeah, I mean, I think we just established that. Well then, if I can trust in you, then you can trust in me. Don't speak like that, Minetta. It's not like we're automatically going to end up dead or anything. Well, if indeed that does end up happening, or something similar, I just want you to know that I'll always do my damnedest to try to be there to protect you. I'm the one with the giant lizard quirk, and you're the one saying you're gonna protect me? You do how much not sense that's making right now. You do know that, right? Izuku, try to think about this here for a second. You may be really tough in your quirk and all that, but what about everything else about you? Well, I try to do much physical and mental training as possible in and outside of my form. Yeah, but what if that isn't just enough alone? You know, strength in numbers. You know? I'm just saying, strength in numbers. You and us, basically, you and I can both be trusted to confide in each other. Because, from now on, it's just you and me. That is until we can find anyone, if we can find anyone else who possibly made it past all the train wreck this life seems to be. Anyways, now back to the possible prospect of turning your house into some sort of bunker slash base. Well, there's no bombs left to seem to be dropping. I mean, all that shit seems to have sunk to the bottom automatically. Hope that doesn't explode and break everything. And it will definitely be a fight for our lives. And the amount of air we can breathe at any given time. Well, basically, yeah. It's more of a base than a bunker. Whatever the differences or the similarities in between the two are, or if they're the same thing, it doesn't matter. For now, it's just me and you. Izuku Midoriya, and Minoru Mineta. Yeah, just the two of us. And, wait, did I cover the other things that were going to end up being in here? Let's see, the whole Subnautica thing, the, like, Sea Emperor guys, whatever the hell their names actually are. You know, Izuku went all Lagiacrus and kicked their asses to make them shut up. Because I believe the Sea Emperors are the ones you can hear all the way from the shallow waters. So the shallow waters are like the deep end. You can hear them, even whenever you're on top of the water. It's a scary prospect. Like, Jesus. I just said cheese it and Jesus at the same time. Cheese it, Jesus. Damn, cheese it, Jesus. Anyways, that's a Subnautica aspect, plus Izuku's quirk has to do with Lagiacrus. Maybe if I find out anything about any more Monster Hunter monsters, or whatever has anything to do with the Behemoth, if that comes from Monster Hunter, like one of the installments, like Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter 2, Monster Hunter 3, if that's something from Monster Hunter, I don't freaking know. Like the Behemoth itself. Because I know of the Behemoth because of good old friend Dunkle Dylan. I say, like, we know each other even though I know we don't. So, that's Monster Hunter, Subnautica. Well, there's 28 days later to get rid of, like, zombies from 28 days later. And we got the Colossi from Shadow of the Colossus. And then, newly introduced, a new challenger, freaking Umbrella. And just the fact that it might just be possible for the return of the one and only Nemesis Stores. Damn it, I gotta work on my Nemesis voice. I don't know what else I might have possibly mentioned. But just thinking about a world like that, like literally, like, Jesus, the setting is like Subnautica, with everything being mostly covered in water. But, besides that, there's all sorts of different other shit. But, considering Izuku is the main character of MHA, and, it's his quirk is that Lagiacrus, a monster in the Monster Hunter franchise, well, that's basically the name of this what if. What if Izuku had the Lagiacrus as a quirk? Yes. Had the Lagiacrus as a quirk. Why I say the Lagiacrus? Well, I have my reasons. I'm just gonna say right here, right now, I have my reasons for saying the Lagiacrus. So, Anyways, Action the Maverick out. Shit. Anyways, Action the Maverick out.